Good evening, members of the board. My name is Foster Aviano, 21 Lakeshore Drive, Patchogue, New York. Congratulations, Sue. It's been a long time since I saw you. Brian, Sal, Mr. Ferg. I'm here tonight because I'm having difficulty at my home. I live across the street from Father Tortora Park. I work nights, obviously. I'm in my work attire because I'm going to work from here, so it's very difficult for me to make these meetings. So I did miss the meeting, which was a neighborhood watch initiation, we'll call it, for some people in my neighborhood, and they passed a motion to have some signs put up around Father Tortora Park. I believe it's 12 in a 1-block radius, which in itself is sign pollution, I think. But moving further from that, my family had donated part of this property in recent years, maybe 60 or 70 years ago. I've lived here my whole life. My mother has also lived in the same house for approximately 60 years. I am very proud that you are doing a wonderful job in our community, and you're doing a great job in the village, and I commend all of you, especially the mayor. Wonderful job. I'm here because I need help. I have a quality of life issue. I received 3 tickets for parking across the street from my house, which I've been accustomed to doing my whole life, and so has the rest of my family and my family members that come to my house for holidays. I can't speak for everyone else in the neighborhood, and around the park I know that there's only 4 houses. I know Mrs. Rizzi is one of them, and I'm sure she was not happy that her dinner party was interrupted to move a vehicle that was parked in front of the park. And my neighbors who have holidays and have large families, Mr. Cubin, who is here behind me tonight, he has 1 parking space now left available to park in front of his house. 1 space. I have 3 spaces. I have myself, my car, my wife's car, my 2 sons, my daughter, and my mother. I have 3 spaces to park. I did add a separate driveway so that during the snow and snow emergencies, I can take my cars off the road, which I can fit in my driveway if necessary and need be, which I have done for many years in the past. In the history that I've lived there, I rescued 3 people from the lake from drowning: Billy LaJacco, Ricky Gulsher, and an anonymous guy who was drowning in a canoe with his children. I have made probably 75% of every call that you have received for the Father Tortora Park in the past years. My house directly faces the park. None of your neighborhood watch people can actually see the park. They have no view of the park. They live there, but they are blocked in their view by the garage. And the other neighborhood watch captain, I think, is on 4th Street, so also has no view of the park. He did, however, follow my daughter around with a spotlight while she was jogging in the street, which I'm sure if you have a daughter that's 18 or 19 years old, you would not appreciate a man of his age shining a light on your daughter while she's jogging around the neighborhood. That is not neighborhood watch. I feel that I have provided a service for my community in watching the park and preventing people from doing nefarious things, mischievous things, and illegal things. I've been watching it my whole life. My mother's been watching it for when I'm not available in the years past. I can say that I've seen a lot of bad things, but I've seen so much improvement in the park in terms of the people that are using it during the day and the enjoyment that people get out of the park is great. It's phenomenal. All the equipment in the park is nice, and everything else is fine. The bigger issue, which was not probably discussed or addressed, or maybe we overlooked or made a mistake as a group of people in a small community, in a small neighborhood. Thursday and Friday, I made 11 calls to code enforcement myself. That was from sitting on my front porch about violations that were occurring just in my immediate view. I don't want to snitch on my neighbors, But I need my neighbors to pull together and understand that we have a bigger problem here of parking. There are 2 signs at the dead end of 4th Street because they were added several years ago because the neighbors were feuding. And the village installed 2 signs, one on each side of the dead end, as to not allow either of the families to park there. And what that really did was it kind of log jammed Shore Drive for fire department, any rescue service or apparatus to be going down the road at any time. It's a very difficult and narrow drive. It has happened because there is no parking on the end of 4th Street. I did, however, see that someone personally removed one of the signs, which I am very thankful for, although I know it's illegal. I know that there is one sign now gone from there. I know that a new person has moved into the house where the sign still is sitting on the south side. I think that it would be a great advantage to not only those people to allow them to park there as well, which I'm sure if I went and expressed to them, they've only been living there about 15 days, I'm sure they would be in agreement that they would want to park next to the side of their house if they could, rather than blocking Shore Drive and causing all these cars to be stacked up in the road. As far as the signs go in front of my house directly, what I am requesting from the board for immediate action, because we are having such a conflict between constables, is it a law, is it not a law? As I see it, a permit sticker, like Jack showed us, is not an answer to the solution, because if I have 4 kids that park in front of my house, and we have people come over for dinner or even one visitor, they have to park 5 houses down in front of my neighbor's house who already has no parking. So now he's out of parking. My neighbor to the left of me parks on his lawn because he has no parking. So I think that the big moral of the story for the last neighborhood watch was to prevent any bad things from happening in the park. But I can assure you that as a citizen of my community, I will continue to watch the park, and I will be diligent on how I see things in the park. One of the solutions may be, and it may have been overlooked, is that on 2nd Street, which is along the cemetery, which is now the through way, and the apartments where there is now a fire swing gate on Central Avenue, they are both freeways to drug sales and people walking through the cemetery to avoid conflict with the constables and to avoid detection from police officers. I have first-handedly seen it. I've called, but it happens much too fast because they're on foot and they know exactly what they're doing. I can only say that I would be more than happy to watch those areas, but I can't see 2nd Street from my home. So I think maybe the signs that you put up around the park, specifically in front of my house, should probably be more on 2nd Street on the south side, so that people aren't parking there where I can't see and shooting heroin and having sex and throwing used condoms out in the street and defecating in the cemetery. I think these are all things that by putting the no parking signs there, not only do the dead people not care about seeing the signs, but I think it will protect the property as well. As far as in front of my home and Mr. Kubi's home on 22 Lakeshore Drive, I diligently watch those spaces in front of my house. I have never ever seen anyone park there that doesn't belong there. And if I had, I would immediately call code enforcement or the precinct if it's something that I see necessary. But this inconvenience that this neighborhood watch program has caused my family and my neighbors is a big setback for us in a very small area. And we're talking about 4 houses that have no parking at all. And holidays are coming, my family's upset, that doesn't even live in Patchogue, have expressed concern about should they take a cab, should they valet cars in jest and joking. And I find it very insulting that I live in a community that we're so friendly and close together, that they have to make jokes about that and that they have to valet their cars to park in front of my home. And I value the opinion of the board, and I had spoke to Jack last week on a personal level, and I spoke to Mr. Felice on a personal level. They obviously knew my passion, my concern, my excitement, my frustration. I thought maybe there would be a possibility of the signs coming down prior to this meeting so I could just come here and say thank you. I don't see that as happening as yet, but I am sure with the help of my neighbors that are behind me today, they may encourage you to possibly solve the problem that we're having this evening and to not make the holidays as upsetting as they could if we had no place to park. I commend you all for your job in the village. Congratulations again, Susan. I hope you all enjoy the holidays. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Comments?
Hi everybody, my name is John Desner. I live at 84 Central Avenue. And it's funny this is coming up because as our kids get older, they take up more space in the driveway. You know, I just had a daughter, she got a license. And I too, we have a camper, we have 3 cars, now she's getting a car. I had to put another driveway in. But you know, we really overlooked this when we were doing the stuff for the park. And I really think that the signs on the northeast corner of the park, the no parking signs they put up, I think they should be removed. And like, you know, like Foster said, his mother's been parking there. I've been in the neighborhood 16 years. My wife Pam has been there her whole life, and her car has been there, you know. And I just think that, and they should be removed and put on 2nd Street along the cemetery, because there is still, you know, people hanging out there at night. I mean, it's 10 times better since we had the problem with the house that was there. They fixed that problem. The people are great, but I really think they should be removed and put along 2nd Street. And that's it. Have a good holiday.
Thanks, John. What I'm saying?
My name is Renaldo Cubin, 42 Lakeshore, just pull up whatever way. Forster said he's 25%, I'm the other 25% that does a call in 475-1225, top of my head. Fantastic job they do, really. The park has been a very good point when I bring my family over who have young kids, my niece and my nephew. You know, summertime, they stop by, they're in my pool, after the pool, we jump into the park. Jack as well, good kids in there with your wife. It's a fantastic little park, I like it a lot. Now, the parking is really the issue. You know, there is no parking. I have a sign on the Lakeshore Drive, in the corner of my property, it says no parking on Lakeshore Drive to 3rd Street, East 3rd. Now, there's another sign across from my house that says no parking. Because nobody can park in front of my house, and now I have 1 spot left. My wife, who is from Patchogue as well, 1 of 7, we have a big family. We had 20 people over for Thanksgiving. It was fantastic. I had to pop my head out a couple of times to make sure that there's no tickets out there. So please, if the signs could be removed on 3rd Street, East 3rd, and put on 2nd Street, that would be fantastic. And myself, I do watch that park at night. I'm a light sleeper, I hear a lot. One got by me, that was the
worst of all.
Yes.
And we were away.
Yes, that was the spray painting on all the equipment in the park. I was really upset, but that was, you know, that was an oversight for me. It's not going to happen again. I'm going to leave my window open a little bit. If I can catch that critter, that'd be fantastic. But please listen to us. You know, that is definitely a, you know, parking for my family. You know, we all should not have to worry about it. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much.
I'm Joanne Gerado, Foster's mom, and I live at 21 Shore Drive.
Mom.
They're gonna make me laugh. But I agree with all of them. what everyone said. I understand why they did it. They want to see what's going on in the park. I've been watching the park for the last, however long the park has been there, I've been watching. I lived in the house for almost 70 years, and my father donated land with Mr. Martino. That's how the park got there. A lot of people don't know that. So we watch the park as our own property. And the village has done a fabulous job of keeping it up and doing everything that they're supposed to do. And I really request that those signs be taken down because it's a hardship for our community, our neighbors in that community, who are practically all related to one another. And we all have big families. Thank you, gentlemen. Happy holidays.
Thank you very much. Any other comment? About Mr. Kevin?
Mr. Kevin, is this about the parking by the park?
Okay, so let's finish that and then we'll...
Jack?
Yes, John.
Also, there's a stop sign missing on East 3rd and Lakeshore. There's supposed to be a stop sign there on the corner. And that sign's been missing for a long time.
Why you have,
Yeah. I think that's a solution, I think it is. Let's finish comments on this.
Okay, we'll take care of that.
Okay, thank
What
you.
section was that again?
What was that? What was that stop sign?
Lakeshore and East 3rd.
East 3rd?
There's supposed to be a stop sign there. I almost got I work for the town, so one morning I was coming up early in the morning, and I came around that corner, somebody just blew right through, and I almost wound up in Foster's driveway. So, but there is supposed to be a stop sign there.
Any other comments?
Make sure that we have a stop sign at that corner.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Donna Handel. Good evening. I also live on
Could you say your name again?
Donna Handel. I live on Lakeshore Drive. I was one of the, my husband and I were here the night of the meeting for the Neighborhood Watch, and you guys were unbelievable. I mean, it was great. And the issue really wasn't about the parking, and we sort of overlooked that, I guess. It was more about everything else that's happening when, you know, I take my grandchildren there. We all know that whole story of what happens at the park. So I just want to say that I also was at the Neighborhood Watch meeting, and I agreed with everything, but I'm also in favor of the signs coming down. I don't live directly there, but you can't even get a car through our street some days. And I love the street. I guess we're fairly new because we're only here 11 years, and I see that this is a town of, yes, of everybody here for a very long time. And it's a great village. We came from Babylon. So I just want to say that we're also in favor, even though we were at the Neighborhood Watch, we are in favor of the signs coming down. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Good night.
All right, you should get it.
So, what I thought to do was the Foster is available. Of course, you know, good to see you guys tonight.
Hi.
You know, there are the parking and stop sign codes are a little complicated. But what I would suggest to do is, if the board's inclined, take the suggestion for the removal of those signs, just have Joe Dean review whether those are actual in the code, because they are a little bit ambiguous in some of those spots where the jurisdiction might be. For instance, that the code does not reflect a stop sign at Lakeshore and East 3rd, believe it or not.
It's a short, narrow corner, that's why it's very difficult.
So that might be a public hearing we'd have to have in the future to add one?
That's why there is a no parking sign in front of Renaldo's house, because that corner is so tight. When you take the corner around there, even though there's a very wide road, the berth is very wide of the road, but if you're going right, then the sign would be basically not viewable because of the curve of the road.
Yeah.
So it's not a true corner as it is a round corner. And yes, John is correct, and we live across the street from that. So I have seen an instance where you just get a head on. It's been something that's been a long time there, our whole lives. I've never seen an accident there, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen. I think that since there's so many cars in the road and there's so many other things there right now, except for that spot, because there's no parking. You know, like Jean had said, or Donna, you know, sometimes if Renaldo parks his car on that corner even, it's very difficult to see him coming out of his driveway or to see a kid on 3rd Street. So part of the no parking sign that's in front of his house is necessary. That's why it was put there, because this way you have a clear vision of people at least coming down 3rd Street. You can see a headlight, or, you know, you can see something coming at you. But in terms of the stop sign, I don't know that it would be viewable without being on top of it. I'm sure that you'll see that when you go to the address. But that is why Renaldo has no parking in front of his house, because I remember in the past administration when they put the sign up, why they put it there.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that neighborhood is close, it's tight in some of the intersections, I mean, they are with
Yes.
huge sheds and stuff like that. I think what we might want to do is have Joe Dean this week review the sign inventory that's there, remove the signs that are not in complete compliance with the code, because I don't see any of those parking signs in the park. So we might want to have those removed and then reevaluate it at a public hearing as to where they might be.
Well, I mean, according to the people who live around there, they don't even want the signs. So.
Seconds and thirds.
Yeah, second, I'd say what we.
Second Street is necessary.
We remove the signs, one second. We'll make a decision. I think what we should do is, I think if we want to comply with what it seems the neighbors around the park want to do, I think we should just have the no parking signs completely taken down. And if Foster is going to be the neighborhood watch for that area.
As long as you don't title me that. If you don't title me that, I would love to continue my diligence.
I would hope that you can continue to be neighborly neighbors, because I'm hearing two sides of this story. And I would like to hear one side of the story where everybody is in agreement, and that maybe Renaldo and Foster and everybody else who's not part of the neighborhood watch join the neighborhood watch and be a part of the neighborhood, because we have some people, and it's not just around the park that there's an issue. I mean, I understand that somebody on Central Avenue had all their Christmas lights stolen.
Yeah.
Okay? Those are your neighbors too.
Right.
And this, what happens at that park affects those people too, not just the people who live around the park. And I do understand what you're going through. And I understand it too. In front of my house, we have no parking without permit because of the college. Okay? So understand that what happens around the park does not only affect you guys, but it affects everybody. And that we have to be neighborly, and whatever's going on down there has to stop. Because it's not neighborly. And you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
They never even told us that they were going to bring it up, and they're next door neighbors who have had dinner with
I'm
us.
sorry. I'm sorry. I can't tolerate that.
I can't either. I've lived there too long. I've never fought with any of my neighbors, and neither did my parents.
Exactly. So maybe something should go, maybe you should join the neighborhood watch and be a part of it. And we'll move the signs, but as soon as there's problems at that park, and it's because people are parking around there at night, we can't, and if somebody's parked there and they're just sitting in their car doing nothing, they're not breaking the law.
You know,
And
the
if-
people have
excuse
been
me,
parking
ma'am,
there.
If people are parking, is sitting there, and a couple are making out in that car, they're not breaking the law, are they?
Well, they're registered and licensed.
Right? So just realize that people will be allowed to park there at night, as late as they want.
All night.
All night if they want.
Just as long as they're not in the
As long as they're not
park.
breaking the law.
As long as they're not in the park.
As long as they're not in the park.
Got it.
Okay?
That's right.
That's how it's been.
That's always how it's been.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So just
Thank you very
realize
much.
that. And again, let's be a little more neighborly than what's going on now. And I would suggest again that you all join the neighborhood watch and be a part of that. Because it's important in our neighborhood. We've all been living there a long, long time. I've been there 58 years. Foster, you've been there forever.
I'm younger than you, so I...
Yes.
And
I can't be that
I've been
many
there 70 years. So.
Yeah, and you're there 70 years. This is not the time to...
We will not.
All right,
Takes a lot to break apart a family.
we're gonna have one neighborhood watch meetings, and I expect to see you people there because you have an alternate view.
I work nights. I'm sorry if I
But
can't
your
come at
wife
night.
could come, or
I'll
somebody...
come. When is the next
Come.
meeting? When is the next
We'll
meeting?
talk about it, and we'll see when the next meeting is. But if I don't see you guys at that meeting, then
Who informs us of the Neighborhood Watch meetings?
They did, they sent out,
We are not on.
We're not
any of
on
that
their list.
information.
Flyers and email.
We don't get any of
We don't get any of it.
Then I will make sure you get it.
I will accept that. Thank you very much.
They're just not neighbors that belong in our neighborhood, in my
Everybody
opinion.
belongs in our neighborhood.
No, they don't.
Everybody
Jack.
belongs in our neighborhood.
I'm afraid some people don't.
This is Patchogue. There was a time when people like us didn't belong in the
Oh,
neighborhood.
no, my family, my grandfather came here and couldn't speak English, so
Right, and they
he built the
belong in the
neighborhood.
neighborhood too. So everybody belongs in our neighborhood. We got a brand new family right by the Gester's house there. A new family in our neighborhood.
We have 3. We have one right next door to me and one 2 doors down from that.
Right.
And they're afraid to come here because they're afraid.
Afraid of what?
They're afraid that the neighbors that had the signs put up will retaliate. That's so they didn't want to be part of it.
No, this is not gonna happen.
I understand that, but I can't tell a new person
We're
that.
their neighbor though. We're part of the neighborhood watch. We wouldn't do anything.
There you go.
I'm in between both of them. I would never do anything.
Exactly.
I'm part of the neighborhood watch, like I
Yeah.
said, and I
So,
love
yeah, we're gonna keep.
Thank you very much,
One
Jack.
second.
It's on
Thank
you.
you.
It's on
But
you.
this is something that's gotta stop.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
appreciate all the work that you guys are doing, and thank you so much for hearing us.
All right, thank you very much. We're taking the signs down.
Take them down on.
Taking them down,
Leaving them
on Shore, 3rd,
And Central.
and Central, leaving them up on only the north side, only the north side,
Right.
the south side
South side.
with the cemetery.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Second, the north side of South Shore.
Yeah.
That's a motion.
That's motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Kemp, do you have?